player and turn that franchise away from him because he's driven beneath the ground. They're not in the ground. They're beneath the ground now.
Yeah.
It's just to, again, I'm not a huge basketball
And fire
fan.
Fizdale.
Yeah. They're going to fire him. They're going to fire him.
Good.
After he's only been with the team for 2 seasons. They're going to fire him. That's what they said.
When?
That's going to be the scapegoat is what they said in an article I read on NBA.com.
Well, I say it'll be before Christmas.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. That would, yeah, I agree with you. I would not doubt that one iota that he would get fired before the holiday. There is no doubt. No doubt.
And if you do it that long, you're crazy.
Yeah, if they hang on to him, past Christmas, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they hung on to him longer than that. What's your take, Lewis, on the Houston Astros cheating scandal since they did it against your teams?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, cheating in baseball or whatever they call it, nothing new. I mean, stealing signs, we've heard that before. I mean, that's not too shocking at all. They're just the ones that got caught. I mean, I'm sure other teams have done it, but they're the ones that got to pay the price. As if baseball hasn't been through enough, with steroids, the 94 strike and whatnot, now this is going to give them a black eye. And like you said, that baseball has been losing fans. Television ratings are pathetic and whatnot. It's like, this is going to be bad for the next generation of baseball.
It is, Lewis. I mean, again, baseball is on and the funny thing is, it's on the downward spiral. But I mean, unless you go to the ballpark, it's just a boring sport to watch on TV.
Pretty much.
It really is. It takes too long between pitches. Then I mean, I know they sped up the game with the intentional walk. Now you can intentionally walk a guy and the guy just runs to first base, and that's fine and handy. But it's still boring. And then, of course, towards the end of the season, as we heard last year, all the balls are juiced, that they're flying out of the ballpark. There's more home runs this year than there ever was.
I thought it would bring more excitement to the game, actually. We get more home runs, more offense. But apparently that's not the case.
No, obviously not. Now we're going to have cheating scandals. You had the steroid thing, the steroid era with Sosa and McGuire and all them guys. The strike in 94 ruined, basically, I still think to this day, ruined the Montreal Expos, because had that not happened, they would still be in existence. We wouldn't have the Washington Nationals. But hey, good for them. They won the World Series. Great for them. But that's what I'm saying is, baseball is going down, and this is not going to help. Not going to help, especially now. And again, I'm not condoning cheating by any way means necessary. But let's say this had been, I don't know, the Detroit Tigers, and I'm just calling them out as a name, not the franchise. Let's say it was them, and let's say that they finished last place still and whatever, but they got caught cheating and stealing signs like this. Do you think it would be that matter? Because the Astros have been the past 3 or 4 seasons. Won a World Series. They were in the World Series this past year. So do you think that if a team that, say, was a sub-500 team did this and got caught, would it be a big deal compared to a team that been in the limelight like the Astros have been? Okay, so there's a big no. Okay, that's what I figured. I figured that if it came down to an underprivileged team doing this, say like the Blue Jays or the Orioles, for that matter, did this, would it matter?
They could use some cheating.
Being that me and you are both AL East fans, yes. I mean, anything that can help Baltimore, because they are in badly need of help. I don't know what can bring that franchise back. I don't know. It's going to take a while before they're back to where they were during the Cal Ripken days and stuff like that.
Bring back Cal Ripken.
Well, they need a manager, right? I mean, heck, they're trying all these things. They got, they signed. What's your thoughts on Carlos Beltran signing with the Mets as their manager?
Well, I'll say one thing, though. I mean, I didn't really predict them to do well last year, but they made a surge in the second half. And I think with Beltran, I think I can only get better. I mean, Beltran knows the Mets. He knows how they play. He knows their style. So I think he'd be a great asset to the Mets. Not that I would be a Mets fan, but
Right.
It's gonna, I think it's gonna help him more than hurt him.
Do
But I
you
wonder
think
what Bryce Harper is thinking that that he left Washington to go to Philly, thinking he was going to give him a championship and whatnot, and they only
Right.
finished at 500. I wonder what he's thinking. Like, I don't believe why I leave Washington. Why?
Yeah. Well, he was the big laughing stock when the Nationals won the World Series because they were the first ones to go, oh, so here you go, Bryce. You leave us thinking for greener pastures, and yet we still win without you. And we win without you. And being that we were what?
Without you.
Yeah, 13 games under 500, and we still won the World Series. So there you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that shit. Yeah, well, and here's the crazy thing about let's talk about the Phillies. So Gabe Kapler's the manager. He gets fired, and he gets rehired in San Francisco. Now, what did the Giants see that we all didn't see when he was with the manager with the Phillies?
I'm trying to figure that out myself.
I just don't see how that's going to work in San Francisco, and that's a bigger TV market than in Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia's on a small TV market, but it's not as big as San Francisco. So
no,
how is that gonna? I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't see what the Giants saw in him to hire him. I mean, I could see he had a winning season and he had a bad season and he got fired, but he finished under 500 as a manager in Philadelphia. So I was surprised when he signed with the Giants. Or the Giants signed him as their manager. The thing that I worry about, Lewis, with Beltran is can he handle the media in New York? That's going to be the interesting.
I don't know.
Because that is a tough TV market. They will, they write black and white on their newspapers. They don't care what it is or what they do. They will eat you alive. So I don't know. I'm hoping he can handle the media is what I'm worried about for him, is he can handle that media in New York. That's going to be the toughest thing, I think, for him will be that, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, I try to figure it out myself.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's like being in Toronto. I mean, we just went, seeing Mike Babcock get fired by the Maple Leafs. I mean, so it's tough to coach in some of these cities because they're expecting you to win. Now, again, I don't know how much winning Mets fans expect him to do. Yes, they made a surge in the second half, but they will always be the little stepbrother to the Yankees.
Of course.
So, you're never going to win the city over. You may win a World Series every once in a blue moon, but you're not going to win that city over. That city belongs to the Yankees, always will, always has. And it's not going to change anything no matter what. So I don't really know how much winning they expect him to do. I mean, if they finish below 500 by say 10 games, will that be successful for them enough? If they get to if they win or they're in third place in the NL East, is that a successful season for him? I just don't know what will be what will be enough for that media and what will be enough for the fans. I'm not a Mets fan, so I don't know what they're expecting. I guess we'll find out when spring training kicks off here in about 4 months from now. We'll find out what they expect out of him moving into the season. So what's your take, Lewis, on all of the NFL? Anything in the NFL you want to get in on?
Well, the Jets have made now 2 in a row, but I'm not sold. I mean, they play against mediocre teams to win it. So at least they're making some progress, but I'm not sold. I mean, Darnold still has to get over his ghost issues for number one. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. You had an issue with a ghost and a black cat the week after in Giants Stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Giants are a dumpster fire. Ever since the black cat, the Giants have been pathetic. That really comes some bad karma.
Daniel Jones has not been what he was previous to that. You're right about that. He hasn't been well, and I think if they don't shut him down, he will be soon. They're gonna shut down Barkley because he's hurt and he needs to be shut down for the season. The thing that surprises me most, Lewis, about the Jets is Le'Veon Bell. I mean, here's a guy who carried the ball near 500 times for the Steelers, and he hasn't had even close to that amount of carries so far for the Jets this year. Nope. Is it just the offensive scheme that they run, or what is it with that? I mean, what's going on there that we all don't know?
I expected something from Bell coming to the Jets. His career at Pittsburgh, and he has really been a big letdown for us. I really was expecting better things, from him. And was going to give us some more offense, but he hasn't done it. So instead of being 7-3, we're 3-7.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know yourself and a lot of people that I had talked to thought that the Jets and Bills were going to be kind of a thorn in the side of the Patriots this year, and that hasn't. I mean, the Bills did very well in the game against New England this year, and we have one more game against them this year down the stretch, but it hasn't come to fruition. But there's another question too. You have Adam Gase, who's 3-7 right now, and or 2-8, whatever their record is, and now you're going to bring him back again because they already announced that they're bringing him back next season. So what did they see in him that they think that he can be better next season?
But first-year coaches, you don't really expect much of them anyway. It takes time for the team to adjust, with his coaching style. So I'm not that surprised that he is coming back. I mean, I think they want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Was his first year. If he does pathetic next year, he's out the window. But you got to give coaches a chance to get the team. Because anybody can have a bad first year. If you do bad your second year, then kick him off the curb.
That's true. I mean, that's true. And again too, you never know what's going to happen in the draft in April and where the Jets are going to fall as far as the draft goes. I mean, let's put it to you this way: at least you're not the Cincinnati Bengals right now. Let's just put it that way. At least you guys have won a game or a couple games or 3 games. At least that. At least you're not the Cincinnati Bengals who haven't won a game this year yet.
Yeah.
So, you got to give credit to some of these teams, and I mean, even Miami, who's won 2 games out of the blue, it's like, oh, wow, okay, you guys were the laughing stock for a while, and now all of a sudden now you've won 2 games, and, Brian Flores has the team going in the right direction. They've looked pretty good the past few weeks. So, I don't know. Did it take them to win a game to get that team motivated? Possibly, but
possibly.
But now, you look at the draft, and if you're looking for a quarterback, it ain't going to be Tua, thanks to the wonderful move by Nick Saban and the Alabama medical staff of clearing him to play that game. You should have been playing that game to begin with because you didn't need him.
Bad move.
Yeah, you may have cost that kid a lot of money. A lot of money may have just gone down the drain with him.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, going back, I got to see LSU because they played Florida this year, and Joe Burrow is the real deal. I mean, that's a quarterback right there. It's just going to be bad because he may end up being in Cincinnati if they need a quarterback, which it looks like they do, because it ain't going to be Andy Dalton. They've already benched him. So I don't know where else he would go, where else he would go is the question that, is, so he's going to end up with the Bengals most likely. So, I mean, you wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he doesn't turn into, David Carr, who got sacked 70 times in his first 2 seasons, quarterback for the Texans. And you're kind of hoping that they build an offensive line or give him some weapons. I mean, Joe Mixon's not a bad running back. And you still have, what's his name, their wide receiver in Cincinnati, A.J. Green. So you still have decent weapons there in Cincinnati, but you got to have an offensive line. As we all know, you could have Joe Montana or Tom Brady back there, you ain't got no offensive line to